But when they form a union, it's not like it's not a type of giving where he just forces her to be like him. It's more like something he has to share. If that makes sense. From what I understand.
Yeah,
And
there's some
so,
great. Go ahead. Sorry.
mhm. So what ends up happening is like the identity of Adam is now like the higher identity that hosts both. So in some sense it's Adam, and then inside Adam is the man and the woman. And so the male plays both the role of like the higher and also like the member of the body at the same time. If that makes sense. In comparison to Eve, of course, he's higher, in a sense like towards unity, and then in comparison to God, of course, he's lower. Well, Eve seems to, in my opinion, I guess, stay basically in the same position somehow. And so it kind of seems like in proper unions, heaven sort of takes up the higher position too, right? And so the heaven becomes the container of both the heaven and the earth in the union. I might be wrong, but that's sort of what it seems like to me.
I think that's true. I think it's actually more broadly reflected in duality in general, and I don't understand it. It's also related to transcendence. It's also
Uh,
related to the beginning and end of things. But I just have intuitions there, and I've had them for a long time, but I've never been able to resolve them.
right. And I should have mentioned this before actually. There's another key moment here is that the fall happens. And then the first thing that Adam does, like they get the curse, and God lays out the entire curse. And the very first thing that happens, the first thing is he names Eve. At that point, she was not named; she was just a woman. But this thing happens, and now he names her. And Matthew said basically it's something like the way his interpretation was something like, well, now he's naming like it's almost like naming the serpent, except this is Eve, it's not the serpent. But it's like almost like that same thing of like naming the serpent so you can use it for healing. It's sort of like that type of move. But I tend to see it, maybe it's not in contradiction to what Matthew is saying, but I tend to see it as something like a proper separation of the union. So it's no longer a union of Adam with man and the woman inside Adam. It's more like now they're separate. Now one is Adam and the other is Eve, and now they're separate. They don't share in the identity anymore. And that seems to be kind of like a key moment.
Maybe that's what you're supposed to do with the sins of your father, Grogoff, is name them so you can use them for healing.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if what Adam did was good. Maybe. But I have a feeling that something else might be going on there. Part of me feels like that's like a whole summation of the entire curse for some reason. I'd have to think about it more. I'm not exactly sure that Adam, because Adam names the animals. And so he's naming Eve. Like, what is he doing? See what I mean?
I do. Some of this thinking. I mean, this topic right now is just like one of the most foundational topics. I feel like when you get into these areas, it becomes like mind blowing and like hard to work through. And at some point, it just clicks. And sometimes it takes a very long time. I don't know if any of y'all have a background in computer science, but like compilers and
Yes.
like programming language design, it has a lot. I use a lot of the same areas of my brain when I'm working on those as when I'm dealing with these topics, is you have to go right down to the first principles and do them in a way that's actually efficacious, and it's not easy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that's
it's
a
scary
perfect
how
way of
much
thinking
I've
about it.
seen it that way.
You mean the thing with the first principles or the other thing?
See?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just found that there's like sort of like, I hate reducing it. It's not reducible, but computer logic sort of applies quite a bit, you know, like things negate each other and
Yeah, I
invert
think
each other. It's like mathematical.
Sorry, I thought I was done. Sorry. I was gonna say it kind of seems like when it comes to the theory of like computer science, like a lot of the language they use and whatnot, it just makes perfect sense in terms of like what we study with symbolism. I don't think it's accidental too. I think we kind of sort of figured out some of the concepts by accident when it came to like technology.
I also have to say, with computer science in specific, a lot of it is like it's primarily just about naming, naming and
Right.
ability to keep things in your memory and how you interact with those things and how they interact with each other, and like building that up to where you can think of the whole program, and then you can break that program down, and you just keep doing that fractally, and how every part relates to each other. Like there is. It is like the way we program things. It's not like it is something that is intimately like so close to our consciousness, in the way that like that people tend to not think of it as, even though like that's all you're doing basically is like dealing with data, basically dealing with these abstract things and manifesting
Yeah.
them into the world. And the only tool that you have to do that is your ability to name things. So
That's good, yeah. And then I was thinking more about how copies of things corrupt over time. You've also got this effect where Eve, or like the feminine, introduces a taste of death and to like test the system. So if you want to like test the integrity of your security system, then you have someone try to falsify it or infiltrate it, try to destroy it just to see if it's resilient, right?
Mm-hmm. True. Yeah. Mhm. There's a lot of scenarios, but this thing what you said with first principles, I think that's key. Absolutely, because it's technically axiomatic thinking. All of symbolism is just that. But you kind of, I think it's much easier to sort of reject and dismiss if you just present it that way on the outset. But really, it's like mathematics. You think just in terms of like principles, right? Well, in terms of axioms, same difference, but still. And then if
yes,
you
and
want to,
the first couple moves have so many consequences, and you have to get them
yeah,
right. It's like it's very But anyway,
the key is always to compare axioms. That's all you do. You compare them to something else instead of just studying the implications of the axioms. You're meant to compare the axiom to another axiom. That's basically rumination. And so if you want to understand A equals A, instead of like trying to see the implications of A equals A, you want to compare it to something like A plus B equals B plus A. And so those are two different axioms, but you can understand both by comparing them to each other. If that makes sense. It's stuff we've been talking about for a long time, anyways.
Then you also have like the seed opens up to an open-ended sort of pattern, and the inverse of that is what is recursive. It's like self-referential, and it's closed loops. It just always leads back to itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed that some of these follower denominations, I'm offending a lot of people here, but like some of these sort of Protestant interpretations are really just like they're closed loops. It's just like it is because it is. Like it is what it says, and that's all there is to it. There's nothing. Doesn't lead to anything. Doesn't mean anything. It's just the words are what the words are. And to accept them face value, and there's no other. There's not multiple meanings. It's just what it says. You know what I mean? It just self-references. I think it's like not the living word of God. It's like dead letters. But I see echoes of.
You made me realize something actually. Sorry. There's like a moment that actually a lot of this bad theology that comes from any church, doesn't matter, but a lot of this bad theology usually comes as a result of debates. It's very rarely because they had some specific axiom they tried to follow or whatever, and then, or because they necessarily study the text or some sort of tradition. It's usually because they're debating with another church and they want to do something opposite to it, and for whatever reason. And it kind of seems like because the origin of that is debate, and debate is kind of like self-referential, just loops in a circle and doesn't lead anywhere, then it also makes sense that the arguments that come from debate are also self-referential loops that don't generate anything.
Yeah, we used to call it.
Mm-hmm.
We used to call it master debating because it's not productive.
But it really is. That's like symbolically accurate. Exactly.
South Park just did an episode on this.
Really? Okay.
Master debate.
Love to see that, man.
I guess a self-referential loop can only give birth to more self-referential loops in some sense.
Yeah, it's like a downward spiral. It's a death spiral. Leads to nothingness. Someone could read the next page.
Yeah, I got it.
Go ahead.
I just gotta drop out. I gotta go pick up a friend from the airport. But it was great talking to you all tonight.
All right, bye.
You too.
I think I'm gonna drop out too because it's 4 a.m. where I'm at.
Yeah.
Sleep is for the weak. All right. Nice talking
When
to
we're
you. Catch you.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Bye.
Yes. I'm just about to go in and select the pizza I ordered. If anyone wanted to for on the next part of this, people are still hanging out. They could read out that page that's on the screen. I'm gonna be tied up for a minute.
Just the whole page, or
Yeah, I'd say so. Or if you see a natural place to stop and discuss, then that's good too.
okay. Genesis 2:21. Separating Adam into male and female. God made the human fall asleep and took one of its sides and then closed the flesh in its place. God built the side he had taken from the human into a woman and brought her into the human. This time it is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This shall be called woman because this was taken away from man. Thus a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his woman, and they shall become one flesh. As illustrated in the previous page, Adam is the higher principle at the source of the gender division. Therefore, Like the creator of the universe, Adam can reproduce a miniature image of himself, a child, through the reunion of the polarity. Thus, in order to create Adam in his image, God made Adam a creator or reproducer of his own image. Only then was the microcosm truly complete, when the image contained its own image within itself. God said, "It is not good the human is alone. I will make him a help as his opposite." To truly grasp the significance of gender in the Bible, it is important to understand that Adam is the union of heaven and earth at the cosmic level, and that this union translates into a sexual union at the human level. Therefore, the male and female sides represent each represent one half of the equation. The male is responsible for materializing meaning into seed, and the female is responsible for refining matter into food. The name Adam actually means human and refers to both male and female halves. God created Adam in the image of God. He created the male and female, blessed them, and called them their name Adam. Interesting.
And then the female was responsible for refining matter into food. So something like flesh into milk, or something difficult to digest into something easy to digest, the milk.
Well, let's start with the male turning meaning into seed. What's that supposed to mean?
Man farms, woman cooks, Tommy says. Sounds something like also sounds something similar of naming the animals or having the responsibility for naming the animals, which is planting the meaning or planting the seed.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see cooking and farming too. Those are meaning into seed. I might need to
Sounds something like
see a commentary on this or something.
taking something from higher and putting it and bringing it lower. So, say Adam is the head and Eve is the body. If you're taking meaning, which is something high above, it's in the heavens, it's in the head, and bringing it to the body, which is the earth, and planting the seed down. And then the opposite of that would be female, which is taking matter. And when you cook something, you're refining it like in an upwards direction. If there's something there, I think that's.
I mean, go ahead, explain that a little more.
Well, it's just up to down and down to up. Um, refining matter into food. So say you get a plant.
Tommy's saying the matter takes new identities.
Yeah, so he said that when we were talking about Adam planting the seed. Or no. And far as it cooks, the matter takes new identity. Interesting. Yeah. So if we think about that, planting a seed, that's food for the future.
I'm looking up church father commentaries on Genesis 2. Maybe we should work down to that.
Oh, you mean like start at the top?
Yeah.
God made the human fall asleep and took one of its sides, referring as saying it's, right? So like pre-gender uh having. Anyways, took one of its sides and then closed the flesh in its place. God built the side he had taken from the human into a woman and brought her to the human. Human.
And
This
human,
time,
Adam just means human.
this time it is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. This shall be called woman because this was taken away from man. Thus a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his woman, and they shall become one flesh.
So the significance of taking her from the side is, according to Chrysostom, she was not taken from his head lest she be his ruler, nor from his feet lest she be trampled, but from his side that she might be his equal.
Yeah, I was thinking it's like close to his heart.
Right.
You know, his heart is open to her. That's the right relationship, is that their hearts are open to each other. They're beholding each other.
Yep, that's a good point. So there is certainly significances to the location, like the significance of the side. That's right where your heart is. It's where Jesus was pierced. I'm sure there's probably some really good
Yeah.
rabbit hole to go down there.
Yeah, which is blood and water, which shown out for mercy towards us. So there's this image of mercy coming out of the side of Jesus. Something like the church coming out of the side of Jesus, where Eve comes out of, Eve comes out of the side of Adam. So it's this kind of, I mean, you can see that Eve is almost, this is almost a mercy, right? This is, Adam is lonely. It is not good that human is alone. I'll make him a help as his opposite. It's like a form of mercy, kind of. I don't know if mercy is the right way to say it, but um,
Right. I'm right there with you, but let's work down to that because that's a little further
all right.
down.
So as illustrated on the previous
Well,
page,
right. Did we do the leave his father and mother? It was already it. Thus a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his woman, and they shall become one flesh. So it's interesting that the man, it's specifically talking about the man here. A man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his woman. Let me look up a commentary on that. Marriage is the mystery of the church, and the church is the mystery of marriage. That's a good point. And
Church is the bride of Christ, and the church comes forth from the side of Christ. Something like that.
yeah, it's an inseparable union. Chrysostom, he did not say this of woman, but of man, showing that the bond of marriage is stronger than that of birth. All right, I don't have too much there.
Anyone
That's-
else have anything on that?
Yeah, I said this before, but I think all those people left. But it's an image to me of, taking Eve from his side. It's an image of God Himself, um, longing for another to share His love with, because it's in His nature to love and create. He tore Himself apart. He destroyed His oneness. He condescended. He humbled Himself. He limited Himself um, to be divided and to have a beloved to share His love with and to express His creative genius through. But that hurts, right? That's creates a situation where you desire communion, but you've given the other free will, and they will inevitably disappoint you and choose to live separately from you. And you see this echoed in the Bible, that there's this gap, and it's eventually bridged. We're the gap is filled up by love and sacrifice, which are basically the same thing. Christ's love. It's how you um, that's how you bear this burden. That's how you solve the problem of the one and the many, is through long suffering, patience, love, sacrifice, all of those. So I see this pattern echoed many times in many of these stories. Noah and
yeah,
Adam
it's
and Eve,
repeating.
Jacob, Esau. Go ahead.
I was just agreeing on saying, yeah, it's a repeating story.
Really powerful image. Someone tearing themselves to pieces out of love.
Have you seen the imagery of the swan and I believe it's a swan. The swan for her ducklings, she will actually use her own beak and tear the flesh off of her own chest to feed her kids. And so
Wow.
that's actually a Christian symbol, is the picture.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not very popular now, but it's in the old churches.
Wow. I saw one recently of a mother duck. There was a forest fire, and the mother duck, her body was found laying over top of all of her eggs.
Mm.
She let the fire consume her, and in order to protect her eggs.
Exactly.
Yes, the
That's
wounded healer.
hmm, hmm.
which is it's like there's something with milk there. So we think about like the mother feeds their young with milk, which if we go up a little bit, just to that last part on the slide, that's fine. But yeah, refining matter into food, it's not digestible, so that's you know, it's not digestible for the children until the mother digests it, so it's able for the kids. But this difference with blood is a different form of a different form. Should we start on the next one?
Yeah, sure. Oh, I was also going to add to that it's a form of death, right? God goes down into death, like as an undivided one. He dies. He goes in. It's like going into unconsciousness, right? That's what Adam is unconscious when Eve is taken from his side. So it's like his identity fractures, but in service of the lowest, something like that, which is what Christ does as well, right? Goes down into death, goes down to the manger at the bottom of the mountain.
Right.
Yeah, I had something with fasting and feasting about how like when we fast from food, it's like the body giving up itself to give to the head. So you get, clarity and you know, spiritual growth. And then the opposite of that might be like sleeping or like resting or like some sort of feasting where like you're saying, the identity's fracturing because Adam's lying down, like he's literally unconscious. And when the head is completely unconscious, then the body benefits due to like literal rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah,
just
that's
from
really
like
good.
actual rest. But through Eve in this case, but they're both cases of renewal, the head giving to the body and the body giving to the head kind of thing.
Yeah, that's that's what a candle's doing too. The body is being consumed in service of the light or the head,
Yeah,
And it's
right.
interesting to compare, yeah. Fasting and feasting or weaving and cleaving. At night you're weaving, you're turning back. It's sort of it's like a loosening.
Hmm.
There's tension building through the day or through the week, and you're getting further from God, and then you sort of take what you've learned, you reflect on it, and you weave it into the tapestry. You weave it, you add it to the pattern, like you add what is uniquely from you, but also congruent with the pattern. It becomes the fringe or something like that. But I really like the part about turning back, like you've been moving away, and now you go, oh, I remember God. You know, this all needs to get integrated. All this stuff I just did, it needs to get integrated. It's not for me. It's for something higher.
Forgetting and remembering as well. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And and laying down is like it's like a flood, right? It's horizontal causality. Everything is sort of confused and equally valued. And then when you're upright, it's like the Jacob's ladder. It's you can see what's highest, align with it. But in the flood, all the mountain peaks are invisible. The water is higher than those.
So could you go back up real quick?
There.
Yeah, thank you. So on that next paragraph there where it says as illustrated, It says Adam is the higher principle at the source of gender division. Therefore, like the creator of the universe, Adam can reproduce a miniature image of himself, a child, through the reunion of polarity. So God made Adam as a reproducer, a creator. Only then was the microcosm truly complete when the image contained its own image within itself. That's, I think, a powerful line. The image contained its own image within itself. It's like a little Russian doll.
Yeah, it's
And
like a
isn't that?
microcosm of God.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Fractal, really.
with humanity being made in the image of God, we're like a little Russian doll of God. Maybe. I don't know. Um, it is interesting how it says Adam is the higher principle at the source of gender division. So what is it saying? The image of God belongs to Adam, and Adam means human. So the image of God belongs to Adam. The image of God belongs to human nature. And Adam was created and didn't know sexuality. So man knew the earth without woman, I guess. So man can understand the earth without woman, but woman has never known the earth without man. I think that's a reason why men and women just don't understand each other as much, or there can be some friction there. But see how it says it gets into the seed. Male is responsible for materializing meaning into seed, and the female is responsible for refining matter into food. I think there's an illustration on the next page down about this. Now, before we get into this, have you guys heard or read? Did you know how original sin is passed down?
In our tradition, yeah. But yeah, familiar.
What is it, spiritual? Or is it passed through the seed? I've read church fathers say that it's passed through the seed. Original sin. So this is, I don't know, that's just a side note, but let's read this. On one
Yeah,
side of the
that's very
go-
right. Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure that, but that's yeah.
on one side of the equation, the Father produces the seed that implicitly contains the essence of humanity. Yeah, original sin's probably in there. Therefore, the role of the male is directly connected to heaven and language. On the other side of the equation, like earth itself, the mother provides sustenance in the form of food. In particular, she raises food from her own body, first in the womb and then the breast. Right? At the moment of union, the seed's meaning begins to inform the food, and the food's matter begins to flesh out the seed. Mm. The seed consumes the food, which turns into the body that hosts its meaning. In general, eating food is a human version of informing matter. In general, eating food is a human version of informing matter. while hosting seed is a human version of supporting and expressing meaning.
Like, think about the
So,
crown we were talking about.
mhm,
We were talking about the crown and how it supports the king, or like how it brings glory to it. So this supporting and expressing meaning. So you can see how a crown would support and express the meaning of the identity or the authority of the king, kind of thing.
mhm.
Hosting it. Yeah.
So meaning and matter combine to create Adam. Adam is humanity. Meaning and matter.
Clay and breath.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's formed out of clay, and then the meaning, which is the breath. So we see the language being above. The language is heavenly, and I mean, your language comes out of your breath. So the
The
breath of
word.
life, the word. So the meaning, the name, and then yeah, the clay.
Should we
Lower
keep
seed.
going? Should we keep
Yeah,
going?
yeah, yeah. Let me take a look at these diagrams real quick. So mother, host, seed, raise, food. Is this just chaos like at the bottom? Like under the mother, is this just like formless chaos? Or
Might be
is this just
material.
Yeah, chaotic
yeah, like
potential. It's like
chaotic potential?
and it depends what you do with it. It's either chaos or potential, depending on your orientation to it. Something like that.
Yeah, like bringing the matter into food. Yeah, the stuff. You could call it stuff maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Dust.
this cannot be dust. This cannot easily be reconciled with the scientific explanation of how things work at the molecular level. In this case, male and females contribute the same amount of information, DNA, while only females express it with matter. Hence, the male role is greatly diminished in the materialistic worldview. All right.
How does the female only express it with matter? I don't understand that. But anyway, moving on, I guess.
The
Chapter
feminine,
20.
feminine kind of reflects the image. You know, it's a secondary cause.
Like
Right.
She
the moon
attends
reflecting
to,
the sun and whatnot.
yeah, she attends to, um, she calls attention to death. You know, the masculine attends to the source of life, and the feminine attends to the source of death. So she's kind of, you know, like, hey, what's that over there? What about this question? Like, what about this exception?
hmm
You know, those are all sort of earthly things.
Yeah, I got to start thinking more abstractly. I'm taking it to a face value.
Well, I mean, it's fair because you brought up the footnote, which is in the materialistic worldview, right? So we were just talking about that. How things work at a molecular level in this case, males and females contribute the same amount of information, while only females express it with matter. Hence, the male role is greatly diminished. And so your question was like, wait, how do females, um, while only females express it with matter? Question mark. You're like, how is that possible? So yeah, I mean that's a fair. I mean, I think that's just a materialistic question. I think that's just biology. I don't know how that biologically makes sense either.
Where's Neil deGrasse Tyson when you need him?
That's exactly right. Shall we begin with chapter 20?
Do it.
I'm gonna have to drop here in a sec. I don't know if I could send someone a copy of this link so they can keep showing and scrolling or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be
So they
awesome.
can have,
If you wanted to send it to me or Grogoth or Noah K.
yeah, I'm gonna send it to you, Nkrumah, and tell me if
Appreciate you.
that works for you. You're getting it, you're receiving it from this other account, recording in progress.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
It works, and you can pass it to whoever. And yeah, I'm gonna go. Thanks, guys. That was great.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. Go,
Kuruma, you want to read this one?
Yeah, I don't know how present Grogoth is here, and I would continue with it, but it's always good to have. I mean, we can just take it at face value. I don't understand this stuff very much, so it's always good to have someone like Kevin or, well, there's two Kevins. That one guy, Kevin Kennedy, Kevin, who we know, or Gordon, someone who's read it and like has a better understanding. But I'd still be down. Why not?
Yeah, we don't
I'm
have
present.
to.
I was wondering about division in terms of the man and woman coming together.
Yeah, this is a foreign concept to me. I never
Well,
really even
wait,
thought about that.
what do you mean by that question?
Just through the conversation of a bit earlier.
In the
Uh,
division?
well, it's just interesting because like when man and woman become one flesh, and then that then divides into more life.
Right.
Whereas I'm wondering about like what's happened where that's not sort of that attraction is faltering.